What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another week of Hero or Zero here on the Heroes for Hire podcast. My name is Shaun, and joining me over the phone is our reporter in the field, Mr. Ciara Lawler.
I'm out in the field right now. There are cows around. One of them is faster than he looks.
Oh my God. Well, let's report that to the authorities and we'll get right back to the show.
I don't think I would be very good out in the field. I would just get panicked. I'd just be very worried about asking anybody anything.
You're just saying for fear of being called a city slicker.
Get out of here, city slicker.
And then they shoo you out of town.
This is Hero or Zero, Shaun, where we pick one comic book character every single week and we just kind of give you a rundown of everything to do with that character. Now, normally you do Marvel and I do DC.
Yes.
Last week was actually the last episode that we've had to do together in the same room. We did Black Mask.
For the foreseeable future.
Yes, but this week, Shaun, it is your week, which means it is Marvel, and I can only assume is probably the best report ever, or dog shit. Up to you.
Jesus, okay, let's... Look, I hate fence sitters. So, you gave me one guideline, because I came to you and I was like, listen, Conor, and what kind of a tone should I set for this
as you often do, you come to me for my sage advice.
Absolutely. And you said, do someone like Black Mask, who was the last one that you did.
That was just because I can't remember anything past 3 days ago.
Exactly. So Black Mask, as we learned, he's kind of in charge of crime in Gotham. So what I've done is he's a kingpin of crime, if you will.
Oh, you've done Black Mask again. Oh.
Indeed I have. I've done Black Panther.
Oh my God, are you doing Daredevil and Spider-Man's Kingpin?
Yes, I am.
Oh, so, do you know what? I've seen Daredevil, obviously the Netflix series, and he's amazing in that. Vincent D'Onofrio plays him.
Vinny D,
and he is so utterly terrifying. So I'm absolutely fascinated to understand where he came from in the comic books. Is he as cool as Vinny D?
Oh, Vinny D brings a voice to Kingpin that Kingpin's never had before.
Yeah, it's weird that there's some characters that you kind of need to see them on screen to bring them to life, but then there's other characters that they're actually more on life on the page than they are on the screen. It's very weird.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm going to preface this as well by saying that this is... I'm going to touch on here is the comic book origin of him. Okay. It does differ from the origin we see in Daredevil, but I would say the best example of Kingpin's origin is from Spider-Man the Animated Series.
Okay.
He has a whole episode just all about...
Is that the 90s series?
Yeah, The Amazing Spider-Man, I think it's called.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus anyway.
Did you see Disney Plus? Sorry, not to cut you off, but Disney Plus have that bit of skip intro, and somebody was watching X-Men the Animated Series, and they had the skip intro, and they did a tweet where they took a picture of Disney Plus. Who is ever going to click that button? Nobody's ever skipping. That's
the best. It's the best theme song, but.
Sorry, go on.
We're roughly... Well, look, we're a few minutes in here. So let's start with the report. So Kingpin, also known as Wilson Fisk, first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man number 50 in July of 1957, created by Stan Lee and John Romita Sr.
Are we going to assume that Stan Lee just said, think of a big chap, likes crime, fill in the gaps?
He had a bowling-themed villain in mind.
Yeah. He'd seen the movie Kingpin from 1987.
A good movie. Might know Spider-Man number 50 by the name Spider-Man No More. It's been
that's the one he gives up, and there's the suit is in the alleyway.
Exactly, yeah, it's that one. So it's a pivotal moment for the character, but apparently, background to him, Stan Lee wanted to create a character that, because Spider-Man had gone up against supervillains and criminals before, but he wanted to create a character who saw crime as a business.
Okay, which makes sense, because you can't just have wacky characters all the time. There has to be a character who doesn't want to destroy the world and just wants power.
Exactly, yeah. So in his going into his backstory leading up to Spider-Man No More, there's little enough known about him in the comics. He described himself as having been an unpopular, blubbery child.
That's my Twitter bio from now on.
Before he began his lifelong pursuit of bodybuilding. Wilson Fisk was impoverished as a child and claimed that his father was a crack addict, and he committed his first murder when he was 12.
Right.
So,
and did his father commit his first murder, or he committed his first murder?
He committed his first murder.
Okay,
Sorry,
okay.
I forgot my prepositions there.
Comments are important. Come on.
They are indeed. So, from the start, Wilson Fisk was determined to be the best at whatever he did. He believed physical strength to be a major factor in building power in the underworld. So he fanatically trained himself in various methods of bodybuilding and personal combat, concentrating on the Japanese art of sumo.
Right. Fucking hell. Because when you started saying bodybuilding, I was like, he's not ripped to shreds though. He's like bulky. More so than muscle.
But the thing about Kingpin is he's a big dude, but his body is 98% muscle.
Right, okay. Fair enough.
So all of that, so he's about as strong as you can be. I'll get into it later on because it's fucking unreal. Okay. In addition to his devotion to physical strength, Fisk realised the importance of intelligence. So being from a poor family, his education was limited. So he decided to teach himself. He would acquire or sometimes steal books from libraries or bookstores on whatever subject he could find.
Cool. That reminds me of Bane a little bit.
Yeah.
Bane got sent to jail and he basically taught himself everything.
Yeah, because he realised I can be the strongest man in the world, but if I'm thick, everyone's going to just take advantage of me.
Yeah, I can't be king of crime if I'm just a henchman. If I'm just a muscly henchman, I'm going to be smarter than everybody as well.
Yeah, I'm going to have the best of both worlds, is what he's thinking. So although Fisk learned a great deal in sciences and arts, he became particularly fascinated by political science. He decided that another key to success would be using political techniques in organising and directing groups of criminals.
Right. Okay.
So by the age of 15, his use of administrative techniques to organise his growing gang of criminals earned him the nickname the Kingpin of Crime.
At 15?
15, he is
Holy shit.
He has legions of criminals underneath him.
I couldn't even spell my own name when I was 15. I mean, that's kind of a poor reflection on the education system here. But at the same time...
That's true. But this man had his own small business.
he had taken out loans and everything to pay off for the rent. Hang on, how tall is he when he's 15? Is he 15 but he's 6'7", so he kind of passes as 22?
It's kind of he is... He's... Bear in mind, he's been bodybuilding this whole time, so he's he's jacked. Well, he's big, he's muscly, he's broad.
Fuck it. So he probably looks older than he is.
Yeah, and a lot of it would as well be, he's not meeting the thug on the street. He sits in a room with 5 of the gang leaders, tells them what to do, and that gets passed down. And
to get that position, he used... mind games? I don't really want to use the word mind games, but strategically he talked to the right people at the right time.
Yeah, political tactics.
Okay.
So, even from a young age, Fisk was careful to invest his illegal gains into legitimate businesses. So the first company he owned was one that dealt in spices from the Far East, and even to this day, even though he's got a huge empire of businesses, he prefers in public to call himself a humble dealer in spices.
Right. It's because then nobody would suspect him.
Exactly, yeah. His portfolio of companies he owns is massive.
Right.
But he's just he's trying to, he doesn't want to be known as a criminal.
And even if someone comes along and is you are definitely doing these crimes, he's I was busy that day. There's probably going to be witnesses at one of my many companies that will vouch for me that I wasn't there that day, so it couldn't have been me.
Yeah, one of these companies that I own and pay the wages of everyone.
Exactly.
So after about a decade of being a criminal leader, so he's about 25 at this time, Fisk had also achieved enough success in business to become a prominent member of New York society.
Oh, okay.
It is at this point that he met and married Vanessa Mariana, a beautiful woman and whose love the Kingpin stated gave him the peace he sought after his constant struggle for power.
And so does that make him less, I don't know, less determined to be as powerful as possible? Or, like, is he slightly distracted by his love?
It's not so much distracted as that it's said in, like, his one weakness is his wife. He will do anything for her.
But then also on that same aspect is if you harm his wife, you are probably going to have both your arms ripped off and then beaten to death with your own arms.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and the Daredevil TV show handles their relationship so well.
Look, all I'm thinking of is the scene where he gets that guy's head in the car door, and he just keeps closing it over and over again.
It's not going to close.
Because there's something in the way, Wilson. You'll have to move him to get the right close. No, that scene only works so well because I think that's the first time we see him angry in that whole series.
Yeah, and it's like fury.
Yeah, like he goes from 0 to 100. Like he's constantly just the calmest, quietest person in every room, and he gets angry once. And then he just breaks that man's skull with a car door.
And you know what he's capable of.
Yes.
So whether or not Vanessa knew of his criminal activities when she married him is unclear, but she definitely learned about them afterwards. Their son Richard was born within a year after their marriage. So that's just, he's got a family going and he's still into crime, is all I'm saying there.
Okay.
So, about 2 decades later, so he's in his 40s, this is about the time that Spider-Man No More is happening. And
has he been slowly like accumulating all these different side businesses during that time?
Yeah, like in much the same way as a businessman would, start small and then grow and grow and grow and grow. He's been doing that with business, but funding everything through crime, but nothing is tied to him.
Right, okay.
So about 2 decades later, Fisk had become one of the most powerful criminal leaders in both the New York and the Las Vegas areas, and had won the respect of many other crime bosses. When the costumed crime fighter Spider-Man, don't know if you've heard of him.
I haven't heard of him.
When he briefly retired after listening to J. Jonah Jameson too much, J. Jonah Jameson was like, Spider-Man is putting everyone in danger. And Spider-Man's like, oh, maybe I am. And so he just gives up being Spider-Man. That's the entire plot of Spider-Man No More, by the way.
He got the wrong tweet at the wrong time, and it just set him back.
Yeah. So the Kingpin decided, once Spider-Man retired, that the time had come to finally fulfill his master plan. Over the years, various major criminals dreamed of forming a coalition of criminal gangs to compete with the Magia. The Magia are the Mafia in Marvel Comics.
Okay.
But they couldn't call them the Mafia.
Yeah, copy my homework but change it slightly. Okay, I understand what you did there, Stan. I understand.
Yes, fair play to you, boy.
And G is just one letter back clever. It's clever.
Subtle as well. Just wouldn't know where it came from. So the Magia virtually monopolised organised crime throughout the country. One of Spider-Man's earliest villains, known as the Big Man, he was the late Frederick Foswell.
Of course.
He had only temporarily succeeded in uniting independent gangs, but with Spider-Man apparently gone, the Kingpin proposed that such a coalition should be formed under his leadership.
Now and he can be the biggest man.
The biggest big man.
Biggest big man.
98% big man. The suggestion was met with nearly unanimous acceptance. The Kingpin then directed a major crime wave in New York City until Spider-Man stopped him after coming back.
Right, okay. And when people join up with him, I suppose there's a combination of a little bit of fear, but also the fact of they kind of realise he's the best man for the job, because it would be very hard to get another crime lord to be like, you know what, Kingpin, you're smarter than me.
Yeah, exactly. Like he sets the bar so high that why wouldn't you put the best man in charge?
Okay, fair enough.
So further to this, the Kingpin's attempt to silence Daily Bugle publisher J. Jonah Jameson backfired when Spider-Man rescued Jameson, who then publicly exposed Fisk as the Kingpin, which caused the crime coalition to fall apart.
Oh, right, so now everybody knows that he's tried so hard to hide his dirty deeds for all these years.
Yeah, and he's done it for like 30 years.
Okay.
And so everyone knows now. Eventually Vanessa, sickened by the Kingpin's life of crime, demanded that Wilson abandon it or else she would desert him. Unwilling to lose Vanessa, Fisk agreed to her terms and the two retired to Japan. Vanessa even persuaded the reluctant Wilson Fisk to return his files of the activities of other leaders of organised crime, to turn those files over to the American authorities. To prevent this happening, the new leaders of a crime syndicate kidnapped Vanessa and and was apparently killed by one of Kingpin's aides.
What?
Who saw her as the only obstacle preventing Fisk from returning to crime.
Fucking hell, okay.
So they're like, okay, if she's out of the picture, he goes back into crime, we're all rolling in it again.
Yeah, but they don't realise that if she's out of the picture, he's not going to be too happy.
Not at all.
No.
And so an enraged Wilson Fisk
yes,
did indeed make a comeback. So not only did he resume leadership of his former organisation, but he also turned over his files on other criminal leaders to the law through the costumed...
to get them arrested.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So he did this through the costume crime fighter Daredevil, and as you say, it was with the motive of getting rid of any rivals.
Yeah, because if everybody's gone, then everybody has to join him.
Exactly, he's the only one left. So as a result of the evidence in the files, many criminal leaders, both inside and outside the Magia, were convicted. In the ensuing power vacuum, the Kingpin rebuilt his coalition stronger than before. He moved on to control the great majority of non-Magia East Coast gangs, and the Kingpin's organisation became stronger than any single Magia family in the New York area.
Right, so now he's all-powerful, but he's lost Vanessa.
Yeah. Or has he?
Oh, no, it's comic books!
It is comic books! So after this event, he kind of not stops being a Spider-Man villain, but the focus shifts, because now he becomes much more of a Daredevil antagonist.
He decided he hated Charlie Cox.
Who could hate Charlie Cox?
I don't know.
Man is
he's
a treasure.
He's a lovely man, but look, D'Onofrio hates him. I think I have it on good authority.
That D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox hate each other?
Yeah. You wouldn't want to fight D'Onofrio, though. I don't care how ripped Charlie Cox is. D'Onofrio would murder that man. That's
true. D'Onofrio could punch through my face. Yeah. And I'd thank him for it.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
One more, please. So, the Kingpin again turned his attention to political goals. And he had a puppet candidate called Randolph Cherry. And he won a New York mayoral election.
Okay.
So his plan is like, okay, they're probably not going to vote for me because I'm a famous criminal. But if I control someone and they're the mayor, I'm essentially in charge.
Yeah, which makes perfect sense.
Exactly. So Daredevil, who was now the Kingpin's main opponent of all the city's costumed adventurers, he found that Vanessa was still alive, but was suffering from mental problems and amnesia.
Of course. Classic. Okay, there's nothing more comic books than a character dying and then coming back with amnesia. I fucking love it. Let's go.
What? Conor, this is a revolutionary new tool in writing.
It's never been used before and it'll never be used next. But a character dies, then 20 years later they bring her back and she has amnesia. And it's the perfect thing because she can't remember what happened and who anybody is.
Look, she's back and that's the main thing.
Exactly.
So Daredevil told the Kingpin he would return Vanessa if the Kingpin ordered Randolph Cherry to decline the mayoral appointment. The Kingpin agreed to this, and the bargain was carried out. Vanessa was returned to the Kingpin as promised, and but then the Kingpin attempted to get revenge for this disgrace by having Elektra assassinate Matt Murdock's legal partner, Foggy Nelson.
Oh, not Foggy. Not Foggy.
I love Foggy. We all love Foggy.
We all love... He got a bit whingy season 2, but we all love Foggy.
Hey, look, I didn't watch season 2. So the assassination attempt ended in failure because Bullseye killed Elektra.
Ah, right. I've seen Daredevil 2003. Colin Farrell did indeed kill Jennifer Garner. I seen that.
That's true. Wait, as actors?
Oh no, well maybe as actors, but I think she's still alive now, so I could only assume in the movie.
That would scupper the whole plan.
It would.
So, the Kingpin was rightfully angered by Daredevil's various successful attempts at subverting his plans.
Yes.
But finally, Karen Page, you know Karen.
Oh, Karen's going to get fucked here. Right, yeah, okay. I know Karen.
She was Daredevil's former lover who had become a heroin addict.
Yes.
She sold the information that Daredevil was actually Matthew Murdock to a drug dealer.
Oh, no.
The information came into the Kingpin's hands and he seized the opportunity for vengeance.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, Karen, what are you doing?
He arranged for Matt Murdock to be rendered virtually penniless and had him framed for bribing a witness to perjure himself.
Yeah.
Murdock... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, of course, he'd ruin his actual personal life. He wouldn't kill him, he would just ruin his life.
Yeah. So, Murdock lost his licence to practice law. Already psychologically troubled, Matt Murdock sank into severe paranoia. He confronted the Kingpin, who savagely beat him and had him trapped and unconscious within a taxi cab at the bottom of the New York River, so that Matt Murdock's death would seem like an accident.
Jesus, but the more you talk, the more I'm like, wow, the Daredevil season or series actually did this really well.
Yeah, because Kingpin is brutal.
Yeah, and he actually does try to systematically ruin Matt Murdock's life because Matt Murdock keeps trying to save the day.
Exactly. Of course, as it's comic books, Murdock managed to escape.
He comes back with amnesia.
Yeah, absolutely. But after another attempt on Daredevil, Matt Murdock left New York for many months. He was just like, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. Yeah, he just... So with Matt Murdock out of the way, Kingpin attempted to expand his reach into legitimate businesses by acquiring a news network. So I guess the idea is that he controls the news.
Yeah, which... Look, it's happening right now, but don't worry about it.
Oh, God, okay.
Political.
But it turned out that he had been manipulated by Hydra.
Oh, no. Fucking hell. Plot twist on plot twist.
I know. So he had been manipulated by Hydra to buy the news company. So now he was kind of like partners with Hydra in a way. But the thing is that New York criminals don't like Hydra. They're seen as terrorists. And, of course, members of the public don't like Hydra because they're terrorists.
Yeah, that would be a hindrance.
So Daredevil used these terrorist ties to ruin Fisk's reputation in the public eye and among the criminal elite of New York, who began to see Kingpin as just a patsy for Hydra.
Right, so he just made one alliance too many, and Matt Murdock used that to basically show everyone that, like, look, he probably isn't in charge. Hydra's way more powerful. He's probably just a second in command to them.
Because once the illusion of Kingpin is shattered, he's just a man, really.
Exactly, yeah.
So, as a series of federal indictments came down against Fisk, Kingpin tried to enact an old plot. So he had a club with Matt Murdock's fingerprints on it, and Kingpin used it to beat a man to death. So he was trying to frame Murdock for murder to just discredit him.
Okay.
In his desperation, however, Fisk ended up in a daylight battle with Daredevil on the streets of New York.
Oh, fuck. Right.
Before finally crumbling under the weight of his charges. Fisk's bail was paid by a former crony who wanted to make Fisk beg for him. But Kingpin beat the man to death and escaped into the sewers.
That did not go to plan.
So, nearly mindless and feral, the broken Fisk seemed to have come full circle from his squalid upbringing.
Right, so he spent his whole life becoming like the best version of himself, only to eventually be his own wrongdoing. No?
Yeah, and it's just he loses his mind. Like
that's really
he
good. And
can't
so,
deal.
is he still crazy?
No, he's come back in recent years.
Course.
I ended the
Amnesia.
story there because that's like his. That's like the Kingpin arc, and now he's just a villain who's always there.
Right, but that's like he flew too close to the sun. You know what I mean? Eventually, all this wrongdoing eventually catches up to him.
Exactly. So onto his powers and abilities then. Like, it's less than you would think. So he has peak human strength. He's a master martial artist. He's a criminal genius. He has indomitable will, and he's multilingual. Like,
Right.
that's it.
But he's not trying to take over the world. We've said like, and if he does, he's going to try and take it over in the smartest way possible.
Exactly, yeah. So he possesses, as I said, the level of peak human strength. So just like an Olympic weightlifter, he can press approximately 650 pounds.
One of us, yes, of course.
course.
Look, real recognises real, and I knew that about him as well. I looked at it, and said, he could probably lift what I lift.
That's maybe a bit less, but
Maybe a bit less.
he's virtually as strong as it is possible for a man to be without being classified as superhuman.
We've all been there.
Yeah, and on his weaknesses then, it just said on Wikipedia, totally obedient to his wife.
Sometimes that's not a weakness. Sometimes that can be
No.
seen as, look, just do the dishes. Don't worry about it. Right, let's get here.
It doesn't take long, and dry him after.
The fight will take longer. I'll tell you that.
And on the Marvel 1 to 7 rating system, bear in mind, by the way, I never really explained this to you, but on the Marvel 1 to 7 rating system, 3 is about like peak human level.
Yes.
So he has an intelligence of 3, a strength of 3, speed of 2, durability of 2, energy projection of 1, and fighting skills of 5.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So
like
his fighting skills are 5, which would be supernatural almost.
Well, he can get into a fist fight with Spider-Man. Like,
Yeah.
and Spider-Man doesn't pull his punches a lot of the time with Wilson Fisk.
Holy shit. He's so strong.
Yeah. He's ridiculously strong.
Jesus Christ.
He has an energy projection of 1 as well. He is, because of his indomitable will. You know Kilgrave from Jessica Jones? The Purple
Yes.
Man? He can't control Wilson Fisk.
Fuck. Because his will is so... It's very similar to Spider-Man.
Exactly, yeah. Like, they're a perfect match for each other.
Jesus Christ. Neither of them will just give up until it's over.
Exactly, but like where Wilson Fisk is like strong and can fight well, Spider-Man is quick and can fight well.
Right,
You know?
interesting. Until he gives up because J. Jonah Jameson says some mean things to him. Oh no!
Oh no, he's a prick! Oh no!
Oh, J.K. Simmons, I hate you! And then he runs off crying.
But that's my report on the Kingpin, Wilson Fisk.
I think that was a very, very good report. I would
Thank
like
you.
to see Wilson Fisk versus Black Mask, but I think Wilson Fisk would probably beat him to death.
I think in raw strength it's Wilson Fisk, but in numbers of people they control, it's hard to say.
Probably similar. But yeah, the main thing I wanted to say, if we're taking out, that was, by the way, a very good report. But we are doing
Thanks.
a Q&A on Monday.
Good God.
And I would like anyone, if you have any questions, it could be comic book related, it could be just life related, please feel free to send them in through Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You have our email down in the description. Basically, any way you want to contact us, just send us any questions and all questions, and I'll make a list. I already have 5 or 6 of them, so I'll throw a few in and get the list, and we'll just do a Q&A episode, because why not?
Why not? What else are we doing, boys?
What else are we doing? There's no movie news, so anything you need. If you have a question of who could win a fight, Vincent D'Onofrio or Charlie Cox, we will answer that. That's fair enough.
It's absolutely Vincent D'Onofrio, but I'll get into more detail on Monday.
Absolutely. Or just, as I said, general questions. You can also join our Patreon if you want. It's Here's for Hire podcast /Patreon.
Are you trying to mess this up?
No, yeah, absolutely. Well, what is it now, Shaun? It's really quickly.
It's patreon.com/Here's for Hire podcast.
It's one of those things, yeah. We have Patreon over there. If you give $5 or more a month, you get an extra episode, and you will immediately get access to our Spider-Man 2 Lazarus Pit and our Batman Begins Lazarus Pit, which are both reviews of those old movies.
Ancient, so they are.
Ancient, shiz, back in the day, back down yonder. So our Patreon's there. If you could leave a like and review on iTunes, that'd be really great. That really helps us out. And just find us on all your podcast apps and stuff like that. We are on Twitter at Here's for Hire Pod, the 4, Facebook Here's for Hire Podcast, Instagram Here's for Hire Podcast, and I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's about it. It's all in the description anyway. And as you said, the questions would be amazing if you guys have any.
Yeah. So I've been Conor Lawler.
I've been Shaun, mate.
I'll see you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.